Your ex isn't a mind reader, which is why you need to really do this in order to help them to understand you and to help things move forward much more smoothly between you and them. That's what we're going to be talking about in this video. But first, my name is Clay with modernlove.life, where we help you get the great loving relationship that you're looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not. Because you, of course, deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. And if you agree with me, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to this channel, help share this video, help spread it on the internet to help a guy grow his YouTube channel, help someone out. If you like these videos, if you don't like them, hit the thumbs down button as well too. That helps us just as much with the algorithm. Yeah, with all that being said, if you do want to work with us, if you do want help in whatever your situation might be, we have some ways that you can do that. There's links down below in the description box. If you don't know where to start, the best way to get started is to fill out a short little quiz that'll tell you the best way to work with us. That is over at modernlove.life/quiz. It's a short little survey. And then, after you fill that out, it'll, based off of what it is that you're wanting to have happen, where you're at right now, all that sort of stuff, it'll send you to the right place. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. So your ex isn't a mind reader. Okay, they really aren't. There are so many ways that I have seen people sabotage themselves, set themselves back, not pursue things as hard as they probably should, because they just assume that their ex is some sort of mind reader. They assume their ex instinctively knows what they want to do, what they want for themselves, what the client that I'm working with wants, all that sort of stuff. And the truth is that this is probably not true. Even if, you have overtly said to your ex, I want to get back together with you, or something along those lines, you don't know necessarily what they're thinking, or they don't necessarily know what that means for them, all of that sort of stuff. So, let's drop this idea that you can read their mind or they can read your mind or any of that stuff. And let's start doing something that actually works. So what is that? It's obviously having clear communication. Now, how do you have clear communication with someone, especially if, they are not so interested in communicating with you clearly, or maybe not even interested in communicating with you at all? The important thing that you want to do is to recognize that miscommunication happens because of certain things at play. The first thing is what we would call gaps. Now, naturally, in any sort of interpersonal communication, there are going to be things that one person doesn't fully understand about what the other person is doing or saying, or why they're doing it or why they're saying it, right? So, someone might make some sort of cryptic comment like, oh, you should just know how I feel right now. Or if you have to ask, then it tells me everything I need to know. Or something cryptic like that. And you're like, what's that supposed to mean? Or what did they mean by that? By why they said that? Or why did it take them 5 hours to respond to that text message? What was going on? Why did it take them so long? And of course, these are unknown variables, right? We don't necessarily know why it took them so long. We don't necessarily know why they said that. We don't necessarily know why they did that, right? We don't know. And so these are what we would call gaps in our understanding. And because it's this unknown thing, and because it's, kind of important to us, this relationship with this other person, we tend to think about it a lot. We tend to ask ourselves these questions. Why did they say that? Why did they do that? What did that mean? What was that how am I supposed to take that? And if you ask yourself a question often enough, you'll naturally start to generate answers to it, even if these answers don't even make sense, even if they're not true, even if they're not based in reality. And many times, the answers that we come up with are actually just reflections of our own insecurities, fears, doubts, etc. So it might be like, well, why didn't they text me back for 5 hours? Usually they respond within 30 minutes or less. Why did it take so long? Then your mind says, oh, it's because they're trying to let me down. It's because they don't love me anymore. It's because they met someone else. It's because all of these other things. And could these be true? Sure, of course they could be true, but is that absolutely true? No, we have no evidence. All we know is that you sent them a text message at a specific time and they didn't respond until 5 hours later or the next day or whatever, right? That's all we know. We don't know what their intention was. We don't know why they did it. And so what you want to do is you want to notice that gap, and instead of trying to rush to make meaning out of it and assume that you know what they were thinking and assume that they know what you're thinking and assume that they know what you want. What you want to do is just stick to what is actually real, the actual things that are showing up in real life, which is, okay, you sent a message at this time, they responded a certain amount of time later, and then just say, okay, I don't know why that happened. And, you can sit there and speculate on it and ruminate over it and all of that, but you're not going to know why it happened. You could talk to some sort of coach, and that person might have some ideas, some hypotheses, but they're not going to know why it happened either. Even someone as great as me wouldn't know why that happened. I'm just joking. I'm not some kind of egotistical person. But the only person that's actually going to know why they did or said whatever they did or said is them. So rather than trying to ruminate over it, trying to assume that, they have all the answers or something, just turn it back to them. Just say, hey, what did you mean by that? Hey, like when I heard that, I was thinking this. Is that what you meant? Or, something along those lines, right? Basically just take a genuine curiosity and turn it back to them. That can be one of the most beneficial ways of communicating with someone to minimize miscommunication. Now, of course, there's other ways too that, you want to handle potentials for miscommunication as well too, so that, you don't kind of assume that they are, reading your mind and that they're just voluntarily choosing not to make you happy or something like that. It kind of goes a little bit beyond the scope of this video here, but what you want to do is you want to just simply get in the habit of communicating clearly, get in the habit of not filling in those blanks, not jumping to conclusions, that they know what you mean, that they understand everything fully, that they're doing this for this particular reason, they're doing this for that particular reason, this is what their intention is, because oftentimes those are just fears, insecurities, anxieties, just rushing in to fill in that gap. What we want to do is we want to hold ourselves back from filling in that gap and just turn the gap back to them and give them the opportunity to say, hey, this is what I meant. Hey, this is what's showing up for me. Hey, this is where I'm at, right? And of course, if you can get clearer about actually communicating what you want rather than hoping that they'll read your mind, that of course is going to help to minimize these gaps a whole lot more, and it's going to help them to actually give them the opportunity to say, hey, yeah, that is something that I want. Let me help you out with that. I do want to help you out with that. I do want to talk about this. Or that will allow them to show up and say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable doing that. That's not something I want to do right now. Whatever might be going on. But we have to actually offer them the opportunity to actually show up and give us what we actually want. And the best way to do that is by communicating clearly. And so that's really what I want to encourage you to do. And, again, if you do want some help with that, we do have our course called Effortless Connection, which is all about communication. You can find that down below, or if you want to work with us in some other way, fill out the survey over at modernlove.life/quiz. But if you did like this video, help me out with this YouTube channel, help spread this video through the internet, help this reach more people, hit that thumbs up button for the algorithm, subscribe to this channel as well too, so that you can get notified when we publish and upload new videos. And if you do want to learn more about what your ex is thinking, their sort of thought process through this whole journey of interacting with them and getting back together, please check out this video series right over here, or you might want to check out this video right here. But thank you so much for watching. Please take care, and I'll talk to you next time.